There are a few special variables that you should be aware of. These variables are called superglobals. They are variables that are created and defined by the PHP interpreter. The first is the globals array. This array contains a listing of all sorts of information. Information on the URL, posted information, environment information, and all sorts of other information. Simply put, it contains everything that PHP can possibly define for your use. Next are the get, post, and request arrays. The get array contains all of the information that is passed into your script via the get HTTP method that is in the URL. The post array contains all of the information that was passed to your script via the HTTP post method. The request array contains all the combined information of both the get and post arrays. Other superglobals that may be predefined are server, cookie, files, env, which is environment, and session. Referencing an array variable will be covered in the arrays chapter, but for now, you need to be aware of how to reference variables in the superglobal arrays. Referencing superglobals is very similar to referencing variables that you have defined. You need to start them with the name, then reference the container that they reside in. The difference in this case is that the main container or box contains many other containers. So you need to access this subcontainer, if you like. Let's take a look at this script. You can see here that we start off by referencing our superglobal variable, get. Notice the underscore in front of the word get. Then we have the opening square bracket. This is the beginning of the subcontainer. Next, we have the name of the subcontainer that we are referencing in double quotes. In this case, action. And then the closing square bracket. And of course, the all-important semicolon. If you're familiar with the HTML protocol GET, you will know that this protocol calls for values to be passed into the URL. So we need to call this page with some values in the URL. We do so by calling the page with a question mark, and then action equals value. Then when we print out the value of the superglobal get action, we'll get the value, var value, as passed through in the URL. So let's save that to our server. Call it superglobals.php. Go to our browser. Now remember, in the URL, action equals var value. And note how action here corresponds with, in our script, what we're calling in the square brackets. And we have var value, which is the value that we pass through for action. Now, one more important bit of information here is how to print out a superglobal array. This is very useful when you're trying to find out if there's information you're looking for within that array. What we do here is print a pre-tag, which basically means in HTML to preserve the formatting, which will preserve how nice our printr statement makes our arrays look. And then we close the pre-tag here. So the printr statement prints out an array of information. So let's save that to our server. I'm going to comment this out for the moment. Refresh our page. You can see all of the information held within the globals array. There's man path, hostname, term, shell, all sorts of information. HTTP host, user agent, query method, request method, query string. Again, all sorts of information. Everything that you might possibly need to call. And again, if we were to call one of those particular values, let's say man path, we'd call, in this case, globals man path. Refresh my page, and there we go. The post and request and other superglobal arrays are referenced the exact same way. Keep this in mind as we go along, as we'll be referencing particularly the post and get as we get into user interaction with forms.